The big elephant in the room is the record deal, I guess. It's congratulations on that again.
Thank you.
It's, I don't know, Fat Possum, I think, is a pretty good label. They've got some nice distribution, so it's like you don't have to, worry about, a lack of, stores being able to get a hold of it. That's that sort of thing. I guess it came about from, the CMJ show?
That was probably when they sealed the deal. They came to our show, and they were in the audience, and then he was like, we're going to do it. And I was like, whoa, cool. Oh my God, like, who are you? And he was like, oh, I'm the guy who owns the label. I was like, whoops. Or I said, like, how long have you been working at Fat Possum? He was like, I started it. And I was like, oh man, like, this sucks. I'm an idiot. But no, they probably decided then that they were going to do it, but they were invited there for a reason. And it was more of like over the summer, just like talks from our manager, like sending it to people, and not a lot of people, just the specific ones he wanted to try, I guess. And they were like, okay. Yeah,
I guess before CMJ, the 2-song single came out just after CMJ, but before it, it was already...
this Bop Bop?
Bop Bop, yeah. Okay. It was already solidified and everything, so they knew they were going to put out the smaller release and just see what happened with it. And then CMJ gave us a chance to meet them, and they got to hear us. And
yeah, that's probably important.
Yeah, definitely.
To hear them live and stuff.
Now, how does that happen, getting to go to CMJ? I mean, not everybody gets in the car and says, I might, play a couple songs for everybody. Like, obviously, you were invited by Fat Possum or by your manager.
Yeah,
help you out with that.
Our manager owns a label called Lefsa Records, which is like a slightly smaller label than Fat Possum, I think. But they had a showcase, and he was like, I want you to play this showcase. And then also we played another one from a Portals showcase. Portals was a music, it's like an aggregated blog with like a few blogs from around the country. And that one of our friends, Tyler Ondair, works there, and he is the reason we met our manager. He like got a job at Lefsa as an A&R rep that summer and said, oh wait, Katie, like, don't post these songs online yet. Like, let me show them to this person. So that was how that happened. So we played his showcase as well, and then like one more from just another friend.
Yeah.
Who had,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, who had had us up to New York before. So yeah, we were just asked to do it from them, and it was really fun.
Cool time.
Dude.
Very fun time.
I didn't even know what that was until we went there. It was just like, oh, like every bar you go into, there's like a little showcase going on, and there's a cool band playing and people to meet, so many people to meet. So it was really fun.
Everybody has a blog or films or makes music. Mm-hmm. It was, very stimulating weekend.
It's led to a bunch of positive reviews from you guys, and namely Pitchfork.com. Ian Cohen has really heaped a bunch of praise on you guys, and I guess that's not entirely rare for him. I mean, he's got some good taste and will throw things out, and other things he just likes to lay into. But in your case, it was pretty positive. I've even seen other websites that, like you mentioned Portals, so I've gone on there and I've seen several different reviews of tracks and things like that, and whether or not like Pitchfork is the kind of de facto bellwether benchmark, for national audience and getting things out there the quickest way possible. How much attention do you pay to these reviews? And I guess early in the career, it's probably a little more than normal, but
I love to Google our name, and I even have my own system. It's like I'm not finding anything, and then I'll Google image our name, and then I'm like, oh, this looks like a blog wrote about us. It's a cool indie picture. Like, what's that about? Like, no, I just love reading them. It's so exciting for me to hear what people have to say, and every now and then you get one where they say something snooty, and you're like, well, then I won't post this one on my Facebook. But yeah, I just get a real high from it. No, a kick out of it. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, it doesn't really bother me if they don't like it. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'd say the same. It's early, so it's exciting to say, oh wow, somebody's writing about this and listening to it.
Do you guys? I mean, does it make you more apprehensive towards doing like let's say they liked a certain song done in a certain style, you're like, let's try to do a little bit more of that, or does it not even come close? You're just like, hey, there it is.
I don't think it affects our process at all. I can't see that happening. I feel like we just make whatever we like, and we're like, oh, well, they're definitely going to dig this because we dig this.
Yeah.
That's the attitude I feel like you have to have. Like, Bill Murray has a quotation where he said, like someone was doing something on Saturday Night Live back in the day when he was on it, and he was like, oh, that's not funny. Like, it didn't make me laugh. And they're like, well, just because you didn't think it was funny doesn't mean it's not funny. And he's like, I have to think of it that way. Like, if I don't think it's funny, it ain't funny, you know? Like, why would I use anyone else's, standards of judging it? So,
right.
Yeah, I feel like we just make the kind of music that we like.
It's nice to be subjective when it's your own artwork and your own creation that's getting these. And it's also nice that they're not, it's not being critically panned and saying, why are these two guys wasting their time? They're like, actually, I've yet to read one kind of negative thing about it. And
I've read some negative things. Not very many, but it's actually more flattering when you see a negative one because you're like, oh, now we're there.
Well, like as being a young band who's kind of grown up in the digital age and been out there with iTunes and downloads and the post-Napster world and those kind of things, and the record industry has completely changed. And where do you see the model heading, at least as it concerns Mean Lady?
The model heading? What does that mean?
The model, the record store, the record industry model. I mean, like it's not so much Warner Brothers investing, giving you guys a huge advance and saying, we want you, to do this record. We need 3 pop songs, 3 videos, that kind of thing. It's kind of rare that actually happens, and it's more driven by, online attention, things like that. What do you see?
I'd say exactly that. The online attention, the technology on a Mac computer, on whatever computer, to be able to make your own music, post it, share it. There was definitely a time, I'm imagining, where you had to be fronted by a record label to get any sort of exposure. So now there's so much freedom. I mean, even with making our album, it was kind of just like, all right, guys, show us what you got.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, we need this. And having smaller labels, as opposed to just like 5 major ones, gives you freedom to. They're as excited about you experimenting as you are.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right to me. I don't know. I feel like we went through kind of a dark age in the 90s, maybe. Well, that's maybe one of the only generations I was around for, but it seemed like I love Britney Spears and all, but like, man, some of that stuff was like dark. It's like, okay, who wrote this song? Like, who wrote that song? Like, 40 different people wrote all the songs on a pop star's album or whatever. You know what I mean? And then they don't even really sing it. Like, they have a computer help them. Yeah. So it's like, well, what's that about? Who's making that? And I feel like there's just more do-it-yourself stuff going on these days. And you're right, like, kids can make music on their computers. And then, like, also, I remember when I was, like, 12, I wrote a song and I wanted to send it to the radio station, and they were like, oh, you have to send us a CD. And I was like, a CD? Where do I go to make a CD? Like, I had it on a tape,
Right.
And it's like, yeah, things are just changing. It's just a lot easier. So I just imagine the record industry will have to continue to follow what goes on.
And be flexible, I suppose. And like, not, I don't know, like with bands and, for instance, label mates, sort of, the Black Keys, like they kind of did that whole thing themselves. Like, it was like, I mean, their first record, it was like a short EP. It came out on Alive, which is like very tiny label. And then, they bump up to Fat Possum, and then they bump up to whatever major they're on now. Like, do you guys have, major label designs? Would it be nice? I mean, is it something you're looking to, or are you just keeping everything in perspective and just doing what you do?
Probably just gonna do what we do. I was so happy with Fat Possum and how they treated us. Like, they signed us for 1 album, but that doesn't mean necessarily we might not be asked, hey, do you guys want to do another one? Or, depending on how it does. And I've thought about it. The fact that they were just very encouraging. Like, they told us they liked a certain song, but they didn't say, like, you have to put that on the album. And they didn't say, you really shouldn't put this song on the album. They were just like, oh, well, we like this one, and it has to be a little shorter. What are you going to do? They didn't really give us much direction at all, other than just positive stuff. Like, we like this. So it always felt like, okay, like they like our music. They
Yeah.
just want us to play. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
We're really happy to be with them. So, and I think this will be such a new experience that we're not thinking about, you know, the next thing. This feels like it right now, and we'll see what happens with it.
I think you're in good company. The first record I bought from Fat Possum was R.L. Burnside's Ass Pocket of Whiskey with like the Blues Explosion playing alongside him. It was
Nice.
quite possibly one of those records that you're never ever going to hear again. Like nothing will ever be made quite like it. It's just like I mean, the oldest blues guy you've ever seen, like dig him up out of nowhere and slap him down with the Blues Explosion and say, go ahead, make a punk blues record.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal, and it just was this really neat thing. And you can tell, like, you know, Columbia Records isn't looking to sign R.L. Burnside. I mean, they're just, you know, it is what it is, and they just, you know,
Yeah.
they do that for the sake of, you know, the product.
Yeah, they seem to really dig music. They really
Yeah.
dig like good music, and not the flashy stuff necessarily, but the good stuff. So that feels awesome. Feels really lucky.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Youth Lagoon is another one that's on the same label that has like done that sort of, you know, we do what we do and we're gonna do it, and I just think like you're in good company there at Fat Possum. So creatively, I think you're gonna really enjoy that. Your Bandcamp mentions you want to play Bonnaroo. Does that still hold up? Would you settle for Firefly?
We would settle for Firefly. I think I wrote that a couple years ago because I was just like, you know, maybe I just need to put it out there in the universe. But it's definitely still true. I think there's something really special about outdoor festivals. Anytime there's a bunch of people who are seeing music outside, there you go. That's a win. So, yeah, I might change it eventually so it doesn't look like it's the only place we want to play. But still true.
Yeah.
Best place in the world, probably.
I've never been.
Dude, you have no idea what you're missing.
I've been invited several times. It gets a little tough with the...
It does get tough.
Yeah.
It's expensive, too, but at the same time, like... Okay, Paul McCartney's going to be there this year, headlining. Wu-Tang Clan also. Like, who else? Everyone else in the entire world. Bjork. You know, like, crazy people.
Hologram Biggie?
I don't know. Neil Young. It's like, so if you were just going to buy a ticket to one of those people's shows,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, but instead you see
Neil Young
hundreds and
himself.
hundreds of people who you never thought you would, so that's cool.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in, sitting down and talking with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's definitely been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I wish you guys all the best of luck. And if people want to find you guys or any of your stuff online, where are you pointing them?
We do have a Bandcamp, which has a lot of our stuff on it. So you can go to meanlady.bandcamp.com or Google Mean Lady, and our Bandcamp should pop up. Also YouTube and the like. And on Facebook, if you look for us, you will find all of our updates and stuff. So
Okay, the album's called Love Now. It's out on July 23rd. Stores everywhere. You can get it in stores, especially Rainbow Records on Main Street. I'm going to give them a nice little plug in Newark, who have found second life, apparently. It's good for them. I'm sure you can find it online, probably at fatpossum.com, iTunes, Amazon, and you guys have the singles available out there. I think Bop Bop is available out there. There's all your free stuff that you have on Bandcamp, so, you know, if you're cheap and you don't feel like forking over a little bit, you want to try them out for free, check them out on Bandcamp. They're all over YouTube. You guys are practically viral, but in a good way. And I guess you're going to do a couple songs for us. So we'll get set up and we'll listen to a couple songs from you guys. Thank you very much.
Sounds great.
Cool.
thank you.